Good evening, everyone. The meeting will come to order. Thank you all for being here. You could be out celebrating the Lunar New Year or the first night of Ramadan or Mardi Gras, so we're honored that you chose to be here with us. But Madam Clerk, would you please read the adequate notice of compliance?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the City Clerk's office in preparation of the Council Annual Meeting Notice dated December 17, 2025, which was properly distributed and posted per statutory requirements. Please be advised that fire exits are to my right, your left, and at the back of the room. The city has a listening system to assist the hearing impaired. If anyone needs hearing assistance, please obtain the system at the dais and return it thereafter.
Thank you. May we have the roll call, please?
Mr. Boyer?
Present.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Here.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Here.
Ms. Landman?
Here.
Ms. Saracena?
Here.
Mr. Pulowski?
Here.
President Toth.
Here. Peter Twill, I believe you're here this evening. Would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Madam Clerk, would you please read the notices regarding closed session and hearings and comments?
A closed session meeting is authorized by state statute, was announced and held prior to the start of this meeting, and the known items for discussion were listed on the published closed session agenda. Please be advised that council meetings are broadcast live on Comcast channels 34 and 36 and Verizon Channel 30, and rebroadcast on Thursdays and Saturdays on HTTV on Comcast 36 and Verizon 33. When invited to speak, please come to the lectern. Clearly state your name and address, spell your last name, and speak into the podium microphone so that your comments can be understood by all and properly recorded. Whenever an audience or council member reads from a prepared statement, please give or email a copy to the city clerk at cityclerk@cityofsummit.org. To help facilitate an orderly meeting to permit all to be heard, please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes in length. Unless you are using an electronic device to follow the meeting agenda or need it for professional emergency contact purposes, please turn it off. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to expand a bit on the clerk's note about hearing and comments. This will facilitate a smoother process, particularly for those watching remotely. So if you're seated in the first 2 rows, please remain silent during the meeting. Anything you say can be picked up by the microphones and makes it difficult for those watching remotely to hear the proceedings. And the 3-minute limit on public comments corresponds to a bit less than 1 printed page. So if you're leaving your written remarks, please put your name on them and place them in the box near the lectern when you're done. With that, let's move on to the city's business, starting with minutes for approval. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes and regular and closed session minutes from February 3rd?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. On to reports. Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you for being here. Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to congratulate our 2025 Officer of the Year, Officer Keith Kwiatek. This is a new tradition started by our Police Chief Ryan Peters to recognize an officer that has demonstrated unwavering integrity and consistently upholds the highest ethical standards with accountability, honesty, and professionalism, even when faced with difficult decisions. Through clear initiative, this officer steps forward to take on challenging assignments, embraces responsibility, and leads through action rather than words. Congratulations to Officer Kwiatek, and thank you for your service to our community. We're lucky to have you. More about our police. Our next Coffee with a Cop is tomorrow, and that's Wednesday, February 18th from 1 to 3 at Batavia Cafe, which is obviously located downtown, 356 Springfield Avenue. It's a wonderful opportunity for residents to stop by and chat with our officers and get to know them a little bit better while enjoying some coffee and some pastries. Hope to see you there. More about the police. They're very needy individuals. Youth Academy this summer. Applications for the Police Department's Summer Youth Academy will be accepted beginning March 2nd through April 1st. It's a popular program which provides our young residents with an opportunity to develop an understanding of the role of police officer in the community. There are 2 one-week sessions which are held in July, and the program is open to children entering grades 6, 7, 8, or 9 the following school year, with a maximum age of 14 at the start of the program. Cadets doesn't make sense. Sorry, I didn't read this before. They undergo physical training. They learn criminal investigation techniques, and they get to visit the Union County Police Academy and attend demonstrations from other county law enforcement agencies. There are 2 of my favorite weeks, I have to say. They are out here in the lobby, and they sound like they're going through true training, cadet training. It's pretty cool. And the first day, they're really nervous, and by the end, they're very buttoned up and yes sir, no sir, and but still having a lot of fun. So if you're interested, definitely sign up. More information on that is on cityofsummit.org/youth-academy. Reminder that we're still accepting applications for the Lewis Bay Second Future Municipal Leaders Scholarship Competition through March 9th. This is a statewide competition that centers on the theme, What I Like About My Hometown. It's an easy topic, and it seeks to advance the virtues of elected and volunteer members of municipal government. The competition is open to high school juniors and seniors who live in Summit, and there are 3 state winners, which will each win a $1,000 scholarship. More information on the essay and application guidelines are available on our website at cityofsummit.org/scholarship. We had a record number of submissions last year, and the semifinalists that I chose from Summit went on to be named one of the 3 state winners, so that was kind of cool. I encourage all juniors and seniors to apply, and I'm looking forward to reading your essays this year. New Jersey American Water. You should have received notification through the mail. You should see it on our website as well. But New Jersey American Water's qualified contractor, CDM Smith, started canvassing this week, conducting door-to-door inventory assessments and scheduled inspections of water service line materials. This is expected to continue for the next few weeks, and it's part of NJ American Water's efforts to replace water lines that may contain lead. We have more information on the program on our website, and I encourage you to take a look because they answer many questions residents might have. Just visit the news section of cityofsummit.org to read more. And you can self-report if you know that your service line is, PVC or whatever. You can self-report so you don't have to be home or not have them knock on your door. And then lastly, I'd just like to wish everybody a happy Lunar New Year, and for anybody who's celebrating. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. And over to Tammy Baldwin for the City Administrator's Report. Ms. Baldwin.
Thank you, Council President. First, I would like to acknowledge our esteemed clerk, Rosie Licatis, will be celebrating 35 years with the City of Summit on February 20th. Okay, now the rest of the report. There's a quick parking update. This is a reminder that the Chestnut Lot will be closing for public parking at the end of this month. You've seen the signage up there if you've been in the area. The city no longer will own that property. There is an updated parking guide available on our website at cityofsummit.org/parking to help residents find alternative options. While we're on the topic of parking, I have to address something a little more serious, a lot more serious. Recently, we've had several very upsetting incidents involving our parking services staff. On more than one occasion, a parking official has been physically assaulted while out doing their job. There have been multiple instances of verbal abuse. I shouldn't have to say this, unfortunately I do, but this is completely unacceptable. I am a fierce defender of our staff. They are out there doing the job that they were hired to do. If someone is receiving a ticket, it's because they are parked illegally or they're not complying with posted rules or meters. Enforcement is not personal. It is part of how we keep our streets safe, accessible, and functioning for everyone. I understand parking can be frustrating, but it is never, ever okay to put your hands on a parking official or to verbally assault them while they are working. I would ask everyone to help reinforce this message. Please share it in your neighborhood groups, community conversations, and online forums. Respect for our staff is non-negotiable, and I appreciate everybody sharing that. Lastly, energy provider reminder. We've been getting a lot of questions So I wanted to share a quick reminder about the Community Energy Aggregation Program. The last couple of weeks, people have been really inquiring about this. It's a program that the city entered into last year to secure lower electricity rates for residents. There were several presentations about it at council meetings. There were information sessions that were held as recent as last month for residents to ask questions about the program. And every eligible resident received a mailer from the Garden State Community Energy Cooperative with program details. It is optional, but unless you opted out by the January 31st deadline, you were automatically enrolled. You can opt out at any time, and the contact information to do that is available at the bottom of the home page on our website in the news section. So if anybody prefers not to engage in those savings and opt out, the information is on the website and you can do so. And that concludes my report, Council President.
Thank you. Now it's on to me. First, I'd like to introduce Marina Brown, who will be joining us on the podium. She's from the firm of Cleary Giacobbe and will be assisting us at our meetings regularly. Then, as you know, a lot has been and is scheduled to be happening regarding our affordable housing plan, and all of it is state mandated. We published the amended plan on Friday, 10 days before the planning board meeting that will consider it. On February 12th, Thursday, a Superior Court judge approved Summit's fourth round plan and dismissed the remaining challenge from Incline Capital. Tonight, we're introducing the required zoning changes. They'll also go to the planning board next week. And on March 3rd, we'll vote to adopt the zoning changes ahead of the March 15th mandatory deadline. It's been pointed out, due to a miscommunication, there is an error in the Round 4 plan as to an address on Springfield Avenue. For now, we are going forward with the plan as written, getting it approved by the deadline to be sure that we're in compliance. After that, we'll be able to correct any errors. While all of this mandatory stuff is happening, council's also going to move forward on what we're able to do. As you know, the city collected a lot of questions 2 weeks ago. We've been getting some more. They and the answers will go up on the website now that our staff has some breathing room and there's a pause after writing all those zoning ordinances. We're going to hold town halls and do our best to answer your questions. The first of these is going to be next Monday, the 23rd at 7:30 in the Jordan Glatt Youth Room at the Community Center. There's also going to be a lot of necessary work on the city's part to implement the development that's going to happen throughout town and to determine and to respond to the increased demands on our roads, on our infrastructure, on our schools, probably on other things as well. And for that, the council is going to establish a task force, working group, what have you, to address some of these issues. Certainly, we want to include residents from all of the neighborhoods that are going to be directly affected by what's in Round 4. So be on the lookout for that as we roll that out. There's more to come. And finally, now that we're past the series of Monday federal holidays and a shoulder surgeon who only operates on Mondays, my regular Monday office hours will be back next week from 3 to 5. So please feel free to stop in then and discuss anything. And now we have our first mayoral proclamation of the year, Madam Mayor.
Do the historical minute first?
Do we? Yes, I'm sorry. Historical minute first. I apologize. There's a black line in my script. Councilmember Landman.
Thank you, Council President. As we celebrated President's Day yesterday, we thought it would be fun to invite some of our elected leaders from Summit High School to provide the historical minute this evening. So I'd like to welcome Charlotte Lemkow, Vice President of the Student Council at Summit High School, and Jack Berenici, the President of the sophomore class. Charlotte and Jack, come on up to the podium, and over to you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Charlotte Lemcaw, and I'm the Vice President of the Student Council at Summit High School.
My name is Jack Berenici, and I'm the president of the sophomore class. We want to start by thanking Councilwoman Landman for asking us to present tonight's historical minute about Frances Doane Twombly, an important volunteer in Summit during the late 19th century and early 20th century.
Mrs. Twombly was born on August 12, 1860, in Charlestown, Massachusetts, and moved to New Jersey in 1905. She and her husband built a home at 226 Hobart Avenue, and Frances soon began her volunteer work in Summit. She served on Summit's Playground Committee and played a crucial role in the creation of Soldiers Memorial Field, earning her the name the Mother of Recreation.
Additionally, through financial contributions and community service, she helped make Overlook Hospital and Summit Ambulance Corps what they are today. Mrs. Twombly wanted to ensure that her neighbors didn't have to travel miles for help.
Mrs. Twombly was also extremely involved at Central Presbyterian Church. She was a charter member of the Fortnightly Club. She helped create Summit's neighborhood house, and she founded and served as president for the Town Improvement Association for 17 years.
Mrs. Twombly was someone who cared deeply for the less fortunate and knitted approximately 50 sweaters every year to be distributed to the poor. During World War I, she rented a farm where she would can vegetables, which she shared with those in need. Her only child, Edward, continued her legacy of public service and served as a Summit Common Council member and then mayor in the 1920s.
One of her close friends, Mrs. McNeil, once wrote that her greatest talent, perhaps, was a gift for friendship. Her devotion and loyalty to her friends was beautiful, and she made friends wherever she went. Anyone in any kind of trouble or in need of counsel could go to Mrs. Twombly for advice and help, and no one went away without receiving a sympathetic hearing, encouragement, and assistance of some sort. Perhaps this was her most valuable contribution to the welfare of this city, which she loved so much, and for which she has done more than we shall ever know.
It is people like Mrs. Twombly who wanted to make Summit the wonderful city that it is today. We hope that by sharing her story, Summit residents are inspired to continue her legacy by finding ways to better our community. We are proud to honor her contributions to our city. Thank you.
If they could put it in the box.
Yeah. If you could put the statement in the box then, and we'll be sure to include it in the minutes. Thank you. Thank you. She's quite a lot to live up to. Now we get our first mayoral proclamation of the year.
Whomever you would like.
Summit Lions.
I got it. Famous last words.
Don't drop it, Chief. All right. Thank you all for being here. You can slide over wherever. All right. Summit Lions, thank you. Whereas the Summit Lions Club is a member of International Association of Lions Clubs, the world's largest service club organization with 1.4 million members in 46,000 clubs in more than 200 countries and geographical areas. And whereas Lions Club International was founded in Chicago by Melvin Jones on June 7th, 1917, and has celebrated over 100 years of humanitarian service. And whereas on June 30th, 1925, Helen Keller commissioned all Lions to be Knights of the Blind in the crusade against darkness. And whereas the Summit Lions Club, established on February 26, 1926 at the Blackburn Hotel, was comprised of business and professional members who shared their success by helping those less fortunate than themselves. And whereas the Summit Lions Club is recognized as a philanthropic organization dedicated to serving the Summit community by identifying humanitarian needs, supporting charitable endeavors, and promoting kindness through mutual understanding and respect, emphasizing the club's pillars of service: sight, hunger, diabetes, environment, pediatric cancer, youth, mental health, humanitarian aid, and disaster relief services. And whereas the Summit Lions Club hosts fundraising activities benefiting the Summit community through 50-50 cash raffles, its annual Kentucky Derby run for the Roses, and other social activities and events. And whereas the Summit Lions Club serves in the distribution of food and essentials for Grace, environmental projects, diabetes, and eye vision education, vision screening for youth and adults, eye exams and eyeglasses for youth in need, eyeglass collection for global use, scholarships for college-bound students entering the medical field, and programs enhancing youth leadership and talents. And whereas the Summit Lions Club will celebrate its 100 years of service to the Summit community with members, friends, supporters, and event partners on Saturday, May 2nd, 2026, hope to see you all there, at Canoe Country Club by hosting the Summit Lions Club 100 Anniversary Celebration Gala. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Elizabeth Fagan, do hereby proclaim February 26, 2026, as Summit Lions Club Centennial Celebration Day in the city of Summit, and encourage all residents to celebrate and thank the Summit Lions Club for its 100 years of service to the Summit community. So, congratulations. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks.
And I'm going to introduce Peter Twill.
Thank you, everybody. It's an honor to be here. I'm the president of the Summit Lions Club. I just wanted to quickly introduce everybody, but they're going back to their seats. Well, here's Christine Bennett, longtime member, Jim Bennett, Don Nelson, Pete Lozier, and on my left is John Schweska. And John Schweska is also our district governor. He's a member of the Summit Club, but he's also our district governor. And the district contains 57 clubs, and he oversees all those clubs. And so I just wanted to make a special announcement that John is our district governor. So it is an honor to be here, and I do truly appreciate this wonderful proclamation. Thank you so much. It's great to be a Lion.
Before you go, Charlotte and Jack, y'all did a great, flawless job in your presentation, and I'm about to do mine, and I was going to show you what not to do, because I'm going to sit up here and go, y'all were great job, guys.
Thank you.
Now go on, get out of here with your parents. Go ahead.
No. Well, and thank you, Councilmember Boyer, for previewing that. You have graciously volunteered to do a bit of a presentation on Black History Month for us. So over to you.
I did, and thank you, Council President. You know, there were so many people to pick from here in Summit. Brent Cromwell and Johnny Mallory, Willie Wilson. But tonight, it's something different. And my son plays jazz music, so I'm really into jazz. And this man here was a pillar of our community. And he was a momentous person who lived right here in our own community. Now, most people know Bill Robinson as the famous dancer Bojangles Robinson. But Summit's Bill Robinson didn't need to dance on Hollywood stars. He built a legacy with a voice that the Star Ledger described as gleaming and lustrous. His story is a masterclass in the Black musical tradition. Imagine a 6-year-old boy in 1935 sitting by a radio in West Virginia, absorbing the genius of Louis Armstrong and Cab Calloway. Those weren't just broadcasts. They were his first music lessons. By 1955, Bill brought that oral tradition of jazz straight to Summit. He didn't just sing for us. He conquered the legendary stage of the Apollo Theater and toured as a lead vocalist for the Lionel Hampton Band. What made Bill a true pioneer, however, was his ability to bridge worlds. He famously blended the black jazz roots with that white Appalachian string traditions in West Virginia, showing us decades ago that music has no borders. But Bill's greatest contribution, at least one of them, isn't found in his music, it's found in our hearts. Many of you may remember September 11th, 2006. Our town gathered on the village green, facing the train station in a heavy, painful silence. In that moment of collective grief, it was Bill Robinson who stood up. He didn't perform a complex jazz arrangement for applause. He sang a simple, soul-stirring hymn, "Let There Be Peace on Earth." He used the deep well of African American tradition, not just to entertain, but to heal us. Bill Robinson reminds us this month and every month that Black history isn't just a chapter in a textbook. It's living, it's breathing, and in this case, it's singing right down the street from us. Thank you, Bill. Your legend will always live on in Summit.
Thank you, Councilmember Boyer. That was great. And now we're going to move on to ordinances for introduction. So, Madam Clerk, would you please read the ordinance for introduction 12404?
Council President,
I'm sorry, yes, Councilmember Boyer.
I'm sorry, I think the Reverend Harriel just had
Oh,
something quick to say.
thank you, Councilmember. Would you please come to the microphone, Reverend, so that everybody can hear you?
In that beautiful presentation by Councilman Boyer, I just wanted the audience and the council and the mayor and everybody to know that I was his pastor for at least 30 years, and he was a member of Wallace Chapel, Verizon Church in Summit.
Of course he was. Thank you for that. All right. Well, now from the sublime to the less sublime. Madam Clerk, yes, ordinance ID 12404.
Yes. An ordinance authorizing the permanent closure of the Chestnut Lot.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Christofouli.
Council President, it's mine.
Oh. This is community programs. I assumed everything was capital. Thank you, Councilmember Kelmanson.
Thank you, Council President. This is ordinance ID 12404, and it authorizes the permanent closure of the Chestnut parking lot. The firehouse property has been sold, and the Chestnut parking lot is a part of that property. Once the sale is finalized on or around February 28th, the city will no longer own this property and therefore cannot use it for permit parking. I move to introduce this ordinance.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
This doesn't, yeah, aye, never mind.
Mr. Christofouli?
Aye.
Ms. Calmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Luceracina?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, Madam Clerk, now we get to burden Councilmember
Council President,
Chris.
we should probably just announce that the hearing will be.
Thank you. The hearing for this and every other ordinance being introduced tonight will be in 2 weeks on March 3rd. And that's when we'll hear comments from the public and from council members. And now we shall burden Councilmember Christofouli. So, Madam Clerk, ordinance ID 12344, please.
An ordinance amending the code of the City of Summit to create Chapter 9 entitled Registration and Maintenance of Vacant, Abandoned, and Foreclosed Properties.
Thank you, Council President. The first ordinance to be introduced under CAPS, Capital Projects and Community Services Committee, is to amend the code of the City of Summit to create a Chapter 9 entitled Registration and Maintenance of Vacant, Abandoned, and Foreclosed Properties. The purpose of this ordinance is to establish a framework to regulate foreclosed properties and properties deemed vacant and abandoned, to promote public safety and general welfare, and encourage the productive use of land in the city of Summit.
Okay.
This ordinance will be considered for adoption at the next council meeting on March 3rd.
Okay, and are you moving the ordinance for introduction?
So, yes, I move for introduction. Thank you.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Laceracina?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Okay. Yeah, Madam Clerk, on to ordinance ID 12345,
Right.
excuse me.
An ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, repealing Chapter 8, Affordable Housing, in its entirety, and repealing and replacing Chapter 35, Part 4, Article 17 through 29.
19.
19, thank you. Affordable housing.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. This is the second of 7 ordinances being introduced that are related to the implementation of the Affordable Housing Agreement that has been struck by the previous council, and now we are implementing that agreement, and these are some of the first steps of that implementation. The purpose of this ordinance is to update the citywide regulations and standards that govern the development of very low, and moderate income affordable units that may be approved by the city or the city planning board, and it is designed to regulate these units in a manner consistent with the applicable laws, regulations, and those legal agreements that the city entered into. I move that this be introduced.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Laceracina?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Madam Clerk, we are on to ordinance ID 12343.
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35 Development Regulations by amending the existing OL-1 and OL-4 overlay zones, creating new OL-2A and OL-2B overlay zones to replace the existing OL-2 zone, and amending overlay zones OL-1 through OL-6 to increase the required minimum affordable housing set-asides to 20% to address a portion of the city's affordable housing obligations.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President Toth. I will note on this one, some items. OL-6 is included in the title of the ordinance, but no changes are proposed to that overlay because it's already fully developed. This ordinance amends overlay zones that give the property owners additional optional ways of using their land and does not require any investment from City Hall. This ordinance, I move for adoption,
Second.
for introduction, sorry.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Laceracina?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Motion carries. Madam Clerk, on to ordinance ID 12340, please.
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35 Development Regulations by creating a new AH1 Affordable Housing 1 zone to facilitate mixed-use development of Block 4008, Lots 8, 9, and 11.
Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President Toth. This ordinance is related to development around Denman Place and Broad Street, and it, again, is part of the implementation of the agreements that were entered into by the previous council, and I propose that they be introduced. I move. I'm
Thank you.
sorry, the language. Sorry about that. I move for them to be introduced.
Thank you.
Second.
May we have a roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Laceracina?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Motion carries. And now, Madam Clerk, we're on to ordinance ID 12342.
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35, Development Regulations by creating a new AH2, Affordable Housing 2 zone to facilitate 100% affordable senior housing development on Block 1911, Lot 5.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President Toth. This is yet another one of the ordinances that is being introduced to implement the Affordable Housing Agreement. This one is related to a proposed development on the property of the Methodist Church on DeForest Avenue. I move for this ordinance to be introduced.
Second.
May we have a roll call?
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracena?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Motion carries. We are on to ordinance ID 12341, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35, Development Regulations by creating a new AH3A and AH3B affordable housing zones to facilitate inclusionary development on Block 102, Lot 1, and Block 101, Lot 3.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President Toth. This is yet another one of the ordinances to implement the Affordable Housing Agreement. This one is related to the proposed developments at 180 and 190 River Road. I move for this ordinance to be introduced.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracena?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Motion carries. And finally, Madam Clerk, ordinance ID 12414.
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35, Development Regulations by creating a new TH3 Townhouse 3 zone to promote inclusionary townhouse development on Block 3401, Lots 7 through 20.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President Toth. This is the seventh and final ordinance to be introduced by the Capital Projects and Community Services Committee. Yet the final one related to the Affordable Housing Agreement stemming from last year's agreements. This proposed zoning is related to the south side of Franklin Place, which is fairly close to downtown. I move for this ordinance to be introduced.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracena?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Motion carries. Now we get to move on to resolutions. First up is Councilmember Landman. I believe you have a number of finance resolutions.
Thank you, Council President. Resolution number 12378. Consistent with prior years, this resolution authorizes the city to extend the deadlines for proposing and adopting the 2026 budget and for submitting our 2025 annual financial statement. If passed, we will present the 2026 budget on April 7th, so mark your calendars, and we will vote on whether to adopt it on May 5th. Our 2025 financial statement will be submitted on March 6th. I move to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Excuse me. All right. All in favor, please.
Aye.
Perhaps you'd want to open us up to...
Oh, thank you,
public?
thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I'm so used to just rolling these through. Yes, do we have any comments from the public on this resolution? No. Do we have any comments from council? Okay. Thank you. Thank you
You're
for
very
that,
welcome.
Madam Clerk. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Back to you, Councilmember Landman.
This is ID number 12387, authorizing emergency temporary appropriations to the municipal operating budget. The explanation for this resolution and the immediately following two resolutions are the same. Essentially, until we pass the 2026 budget on May 5th, the city is operating under the temporary municipal operating budget. The city needs to spend now on some items like salary for city staff, day-to-day operating expenses like vehicle maintenance, maintaining traffic signals, and purchasing uniforms for our officers. The only way to authorize this needed spending is via this resolution. We're required to call it an emergency, but it is standard operating procedure. I move to adopt this resolution by roll call vote.
Second?
Thank you. Do we have any comments from members of the public on this? No? Any comments from members of council? Okay, Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Calmonson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saraceno?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Thank you. Back to you, Councilmember Landman.
Thank you. Continuing on, resolution number 12415 authorizes emergency temporary appropriations to the parking utility. Again, the only way to authorize needed spending is via this resolution. We're required to call it an emergency, but it is standard operating procedure, and I move to adopt this resolution by roll call vote.
Second?
Okay, thank you. Do we have any comments from the public? Do we have any comments from members of council? Over to you for a roll call.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Calmonson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saraceno?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Thank you. Councilmember Landman.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, Resolution 12391 authorizes emergency temporary appropriations for the sewer utility. Again, I move to adopt this resolution by roll call vote.
Second?
Any comments from members of the public? Comments from council? May we have a roll call?
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Calmonson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saraceno?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Motion carries. Councilmember Landman.
Okay, and the last resolution for finance is resolution number 12422, accepting the grant funds in the amount of $1,000 from the New Jersey Healthcare Quality Institute through its Mayor's Wellness Campaign incentive drawing. We're one of the winners of the 2025-2026 awards, which we intend to use for mental health awareness. I move to adopt this resolution.
Second?
Any comments from members of the public? Comments from council? Yes, I thought you might want to say
I might want to
something,
say
Madam Mayor.
something. Yeah, we won the lottery on this. This was just because we're a part of the Mayor's Wellness Campaign. And I have to shout out David Guida from the Community Department of Community Programs, because he has been instrumental in helping us do events that are centered around wellness. So I just want to give a shout out there and take a moment. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month, as many of you may know, and we have partnered with other municipalities adjacent to us the past couple of years. And I'd like to thank Annette Dwyer for her taking the lead on really beefing that up last year and intending to beef it up even more this year. And so this $1,000 will really help with that. So thank you.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Councilmember Crisafulli,
Thank you.
we haven't
Council-
heard enough from you this evening.
Thank you, Council President. I might sing the rest of these, just to vary it a little bit. Resolution number 12383 is for Phase 2A of the Parkline project in the amount of $98,800 for the removal of 2 bridges over Ashwood Avenue and Russell Place. The city had received much higher bids for this work and has instead elected to serve as general contractor itself. The funds will come from the Parkline Foundation Trust account, and some flavor from our city engineer, Aaron Schrager, who was unable to be here tonight. He says that there will be brief closure of the 2 subject streets, and that this work will possibly be done during spring break, hopefully to minimize disruption to traffic flows. I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Any comments from members of the public? Comments from members of council?
Council President,
Yes, Councilmember Boyer.
just a couple of quick
Yeah.
statements, since the Parkline is the committee chair. So what's going to happen is the 2 bridges, one bridge is going to come down, they'll take it away, they'll put a new bridge up. The other one will be taken down, they'll cut it up because these bridges are really heavy, then they'll dispose of it. Originally, if everything was perfect, we would have got a decent bid to do the whole Phase 2. However, because the construction workers and developers, they have so many things, so many projects out there that they can do, they're able to charge a lot of money to get the whole Phase 2 done. So what some smart people on the committee decided to do was split it up, and we can use our own DPW to help chip away at it, so that when we get ready to do the top that abuts Henry Street, it'll be nice and cleared, we can get a lower price, and we can move forward. But we just didn't want to stay stagnant with this project. So this $98,000 will be put to good use, and keep the park line momentum moving forward.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Boyer. Anybody else? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Back to you, Councilmember Crisafulli.
Council President, thank you. I move to bundle the two engineering services resolutions.
Terrific.
Okay. Resolution number 12409 would authorize the 2026 consultant engineering services of Collier's Engineering Design for geographic information systems and general engineering in an amount not to exceed $100,000. And Resolution 12408 to authorize the 2026 consulting engineering services from Remington and Vernick Engineers for general engineering, also an amount not to exceed $100,000. I move to adopt the two resolutions.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments from the public? Comments from members of council? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. Councilmember Palowski.
So I've mentioned on several occasions that we've been looking for an assistant engineer that maybe could help defray some of the consulting fees that we have. I think we're getting close to not to exceed $1 million on outside engineering services. So I would just encourage the CAPS committee to keep pushing and looking for something like that. Maybe we can save the taxpayers a couple of bucks.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Council President.
Yes, Councilmember Boyer.
This may not be the question for this body right now, but I know Remington does a lot of work for us. They're really good engineers.
Colliers.
Thank you. I can't say that word if I wanted to say it again. What are they doing for us? I don't know. Dan, do you know the difference between the two?
So
I don't want to put you on the spot.
Aaron indicated that they have helped us with our traffic lights. They do geographic information systems and general engineering. And
Okay.
they've been a provider to us for many years.
Thank you.
Okay. And I do know in the past, it's better to have more than one option when there's a project the city needs some help on. So typically, we enter into contracts with more than one engineering firm at a time.
And there have been a series already introduced earlier this year.
Yeah,
These are just the last two.
Yeah. Any further comments or questions? No? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. One more for you, Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President Toth. And this one is resolution number 12310 to authorize an amendment to the license agreement to allow Brandywine Living at 141 Springfield Avenue, almost down by Route 24, to replace their sign using the same stone pillars that are currently in place. There's a photograph of it in the packet, and it's just swapping out the sign itself, not changing the shape or the supporting structure. I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Any comments from members of the public? Do we have any comments from council? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Councilmember Palowski, do you have some resolutions for us?
I think I have a couple. Thank you. This is resolution ID number 12386 to authorize state contract purchase of portable radios for the fire department in the amount of $225,103.77. Periodically, the Summit Fire Department needs to update its equipment. We try to spread it out over the years. And at this point in time, our portable radios need to be replaced. It's going to be an upgrade to replace outdated radios. So I move to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Do we have any comments from members of the public? Any comments from members of council?
Council President,
Yes, Councilmember Boyer.
the only thing I would say is we need to keep trying to get the grant for the radios. I know it's really hard to get. They look at Summit and say, well, you know, Summit's an affluent town. We'd rather give that money to, you know, Plainfield. But we got to keep pushing that. $250K is a lot of money for the radios. So sorry when you get it this time, Chief, but hopefully next time, you know.
You have a plot here.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Back to you, Councilmember Pulowski.
Thank you. This is Resolution 12396 to appoint additional humane law enforcement officers. This has to do with pets. And due to shifting duties, Sergeant Majuli will no longer serve as the humane law enforcement officer for Summit. By this resolution, the council will appoint Detective Franchino and Officer Correa to serve in her stead for the remainder of this calendar year and until such time as the council appoints a successor or successors. I move to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Any comments from members of the public? From members of council? The mayor.
I think I have a correction.
Okay.
Kathy Majuli will remain as Helio, but these are two additional officers in her absence, so that there's coverage if she is not available.
I stand corrected.
Sorry.
Then you are preventing me from being able to say that it takes two men to do one woman's job.
My apologies.
Any other comments or questions from council? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We are on to the consent agenda. So does any member of the public have anything to say about the consent agenda?
Should probably take a motion to.
Oh, sorry. Somebody, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Did you get those?
Yes.
Okay. Does any member of the public have a comment on anything on the consent agenda? No. Any member of council have anything on the consent agenda?
Council President,
Okay, Councilmember Boyer and then Councilmember Laceracina.
the only thing that I would say is maybe if we can explain the repairs to the parking deck,
Okay.
maybe our
Yeah.
our business
Councilmember
administrator?
Kalmanson or
Tammy,
city
maybe.
administrator?
Yeah.
Through you, Council President, I will do my best. I would usually defer this to the city engineer. However, we are looking to repair the tier garage. Some of you may have seen, there was a presentation here quite some time ago by an engineering firm, and we need to go out to bid to secure that. We are trying to do our best to get that work done in the summertime to have the least amount of impact on folks downtown. And we will come up with alternate parking arrangements when we know the exact timing of those repairs. Is that helpful?
Yes. And I know we did look at, we looked into solar panels. It wasn't feasible, the way the parking deck is structured. We also looked into different plugs for electric vehicles, things of that nature. But I think this fix will last for, they say 10 years, a decade?
Minimum of 10 years is what they
Minimum
said,
check.
yeah.
So long as we maintain the parking deck.
Correct.
Councilmember Laceracina.
Thank you, Council President. Just wanted to extend a quick note of gratitude to the Hendra family for their very generous donation of a tree that will be planted at Tatlock Park, along with a memorial plaque. We also extend our condolences to the family. Also want to thank Wells Fargo for their donation of quite a bit of furniture that they no longer need to our wonderful police force. So we'll have some just like brand new furniture to add to our stock here. So we thank them as well.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? The mayor,
Sorry,
yes.
I'm very
That's
talkative
okay.
tonight.
You are, good for you.
I just wanted to clarify too, it wasn't just furniture for the police department. It was, you'll see around City Hall, several new chairs. They're their old stuff was better than our old stuff, so, and some artificial plants to liven the place up. So there are a couple of other places in City Hall, in the clerk's office as well.
My office.
Okay.
Got an upgrade after 35 years, Rosie. So thank you, Onyx.
Did they have any seats? Like,
We look, trust me.
okay.
Tried them all.
Okay. And to clarify that this donation did not occur until long after the agreement regarding the redevelopment of the Wells Fargo property was signed. So, not part of that. Yes.
May I also add that the Board of Education, I don't know whether they took advantage of it or not, but they were also called to see if there was anything they want before Wells Fargo dispersed of the furniture.
Good. Thank you. Okay. So, all in favor of adopting the consent agenda?
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion passes. Thank you, city staff, for your time this evening. You are free to return to your families. Okay, so as we begin public comment, I'd like to ask that residents of Summit step forward to speak first. We value input from everyone, and any member of the public is welcome to speak, but we simply ask for your courtesy in allowing our local neighbors to lead the public discussion if they're prepared to speak first. So, Mr. Bennett.
Yes, good evening, Mayor Fagan, Council President Toth, members of Common Council, city staff. I'm Jim Bennett, B-E-N-N-E-T-T, 38 Fairview Avenue. On February 12th, the Superior Court rendered its decision and order approving Summit's municipal housing element and fair share plan for the fourth round housing cycle. This order will secure Summit's immunity from builders' remedy lawsuits for the next decade. The successful result is the product of Council's years of hard work for the residents of Summit. Congratulations. The city is now authorized to adopt and file an amended housing element and fair share plan incorporating the changes contained in the court's order. It must do so by March 16th, 2026, or face builders' remedies, and I see that the 7 ordinances that were introduced from capital projects are a start on that step. The task before you is to get on with adopting the plan now. I won't be able to attend the next council meeting, so your action need not be delayed by my 3 minutes of public comment. The time has come, though, to stop the Monday morning quarterbacking about the deal. The approach taken struck the right balance between avoiding risk and avoiding timidity, and the deal is sound. Generally, the plan distributes affordable housing units throughout the city and avoids concentration. This feature is significant for an overlooked reason. The most concentrated development under the amended plan is 45 units per acre and may not even set a precedent because it is in a remote area of town. If Broad Street West had been built at 140 units per acre, the development would have undermined the city's ability to zone more restrictively elsewhere. I spoke about that point at an anti-Broad Street West rally, and I said that years ago that the zoning board opposed a 5th floor at 45 Maple Street, and during the appeal of that opposition to the Superior Court, the judge took a field trip to the top of the tier parking garage on Springfield Avenue and asked, "How high are we?" Upon hearing the answer, he granted the application for the 5th floor, and Broad Street West would have led to the same issue. We have no Broad Street West here. The council did its best given the mandate that came down from Trenton. The time has come now to get on with what we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening. Will Von Klemperer, 156 Colonial Road. I appreciate that you all are taking questions so that the community can, in the end, understand the affordable housing. I sent some in, no answer yet, so I'll put a couple of quick ones out tonight. I comprehend that our affordable housing round 4 number is 345 affordable units to be built plus other credits. For perspective, I think it would be good for the community to know at some point what the numbers were for the communities, the cities around us. Broadly speaking, it's general, every town has its own particulars, but we ought to know that. Second, at the February 3rd meeting, residents asked council how the 345 obligation grosses up to the total number of units that will be built. And there was not an answer at the time. I think so that there can be sensible discussion in town, we ought to have at least a good estimate of that number as soon as possible. Plus or minus 10% if there's still particulars. My third question relates to round 3. It's an inquiry. One of the slides on February 3rd talked about the agreements with the Methodist and Catholic churches as being a memo of understanding and something in planning stage. The 10 years of round 3 are done, so I would think the action plan by now would be firm and in concrete. So just a confirmation that this is really going to happen is in order. There are still decisions to be made, best I can understand it. And my question is who will be making the decisions for Summit? I don't know if a judge steps in and decides. Is it the mayor, the Mount Laurel Committee, the council? Who do I look? Where do I look to see who's deciding anything? Finally, I could not have imagined the last meeting, the February 3rd meeting, back in December when I went to the final 2025 council meeting. Council members were taking bows for having completed the affordable housing. And then in January, we heard a very upbeat, positive, no storms out there, city report on the state of the city. So somewhere in this, to understand ourselves, I think we should have a written, complete, sober record of what changed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Do we have other comments? Yes.
Good evening.
Good
Vito
evening.
Gallo, 10 Euclid Avenue in Summit. Just a question, maybe an observation. I've read through as many of these 323 pages of on the packet today. I did not see any mention in the zoning of the site that was a matter for considerable discussion at the prior meeting, of the site that was referred to as the Ivies, and it appears to have been deleted from the project. So I think that needs to be clarified. Did the input from the neighborhood result in that not being included in any of these resolutions that were for zoning changes today? It's a question in my mind.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions? Comments, excuse me. Yes.
Hi, good evening. Mike Carino, 67 Broad Street. So I just have 3 comments on the affordable housing plan. First, on the Shunpike project, I think it's pretty clear from reading the affordable housing plan and sort of what's implied in the deal for the Russo dispute that was a key cog in resolving that dispute. And I know people who live over there, and I feel terrible for them because as a result of that small, quiet neighborhood that's mostly made up of single-family houses is going to be irreparably changed. And I think regardless of the fact that the city has control over that project, I really don't think there's any way that this doesn't fundamentally change that neighborhood and won't have anything other than a major impact on that area of town. Also, this was mentioned at a prior council meeting. Somebody mentioned that site is within earshot of the county gun range. I live on Broad Street, which is further away from that site from the county gun range. To me, having veterans housing within earshot of a firing range that's active most of the year seems like not a great idea. And I'm wondering, like for the veterans themselves, why wasn't that considered? And if it was it overlooked or ignored? Secondly, on the 190 River Road deal, 2 issues there. Seems like the $1 million for the Affordable Trust Fund, Housing Trust Fund, and the Shunpike Road site, whatever you think of it, those relate to affordable housing. I really don't understand what the $100,000 for the municipal golf course has to do with affordable housing. I don't like the way that looks. I know we could have used the $100,000 for a lot of other things around town than landscaping at the golf course. Secondly, on that site, that's not a good site for an apartment building. It's bordered by 3 super busy roads. It's not walkable. It has basically no green space, and I think that the inclusion of the transportation in the deal is a tacit admission that it's not a good place for housing. Thirdly, this map was showed, or is in the affordable housing plan. It's page 70. Last week, Ms. Holmes sat right there and said, and I quote, "It, meaning affordable housing, is not all concentrated in one area. It's scattered throughout the city." So this map shows where the affordable housing actually is in the city. Outside of this Sharpied area right here, there's 7 affordable housing units in this entire area of the city. We have East Summit through the Central Business District over to the border with Chatham and Milburn. I think that this strongly suggests that Summit has its own internal affordable housing imbalance. And so even though the 4th round plan is basically a done deal and the projects are moving forward with all these ordinances we introduced tonight, I think it's important to acknowledge and be honest about the impacts specifically of the Shunpike neighborhood and across the city more broadly. I think the map here demonstrates that only a small portion of the town is absorbing the full impact of the new and proposed developments. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else from public have any comments to make? Yes. Good evening.
Sorry I wasn't here in person. I was putting kids to bed. I'm here because I haven't gotten responses.
May we start with name and where you live?
Ellen de Havilland, 197 Ashland Road. I'm here today because I haven't gotten any responses from the engineering department with some repeated emails. I've copied the mayor and my city reps. There's a proposed sidewalk on Ashland Road where there was a small portion added because I guess from my understanding, there's at least one Linda Lane resident that requested an additional crosswalk, walking area, something. I've drawn a little map because in front of my house, it's the only house on that section. They decided to add an extra sidewalk. Wonderful. I'm more concerned about where they then put the crosswalk across Pine Grove, which is an incredibly congested crossing area. Mind you, the sidewalk for the rest of the road is on the opposite side of the road, and it's just that one block they brought it over. What I've proposed, and I sent a map to the engineering department to discuss, is putting that crosswalk one block earlier, saving the effort of doing that whole sidewalk. I've talked to the crossing guard, I've talked to a police officer on that corner. All have been in agreement without me even proposing this idea that this is a chaotic corner. I know I did find out, and I believe it was 2011, there was also a death in that area of a pedestrian that was struck crossing. It's a very busy road. Maybe consider road humps, something else, but adding another crossing on a corner where there's always horns beeping, people crossing the street there, it's crazy. I would love a response and more conversation about it. I've got multiple neighbors that are also sharing this concern, and my concern is that they just randomly added this portion on to appease that one resident instead of considering some of the other options, and I think that there's a very easy other option here, simply just moving that crosswalk. I would love some discussion about it. I would love to know maybe who the Linda Lane resident is. If they think a sidewalk needs to be on that side, can we talk about why? Maybe even a traffic study, but to just plant it in there and then risk lives of children on a corner. My driveway's on that corner. It's busy. So I have a map here. I have a formal statement, but I didn't feel like reading out, to be honest. It's late. We're tired.
I can put that in the record if it's not.
Okay.
Can we put the map in the record?
If she's referencing the map, yes.
Yes, I'll put the map in the record.
Thank you.
And know that all my communications have also been via email, and I've just been my latest email was about a week and a half ago with absolutely no response. So. Thank you.
President?
Thank you.
Can I just recommend something to Mr. Haviland?
Please.
I know that she has sent several emails. I would respectfully request if you could put all these suggestions in one thing. refer it as a DAR to the proper committee. And then this way it goes through the process and you'll get a response somehow. Whether or not it's
Perfect.
favorable, I can't promise.
My last email that included the mayor and my council reps had all of the details and a
Right.
map included with my edits and sort of
You just
commentary on
resend it
that.
to me so it's at the top of my box and then I'll take care of it.
Happy to. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. I really appreciate all of your time tonight.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. That's very helpful. Anybody else? Okay, but then I suppose we can move on to council member comments. Do we have any council member comments this evening? Don't all rush. I could just adjourn the meeting. Got a couple of
They'll
people
dock our
looking
pay.
at me.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay,
Thank you, Council
Councilmember
President. Bear with me, I'm a little under the weather, so. First, I wanted to give an update on the Finance Committee. We've been super busy over the past 6 weeks, working on the draft 2026 budget, which I mentioned earlier in the resolutions. Just wanted to share a few important points for everyone's awareness. The 2026 operating budget is going to need to absorb approximately $1.2 million increase this year in employee benefits expenses, which Council President Toth and Administrator Baldwin have flagged for our awareness last year. Given anticipated activities regarding the master plan and affordable housing, we also expect to see increases in related expenses for those programs in 2026. So in order to preserve cost of living increases for our city staff, we are doing everything we can to tighten other operating expenses. Within capital projects, which is separate from the municipal operating budget, we are prioritizing requests from department heads over multiple years, prioritizing needs over wants for 2026, and moving nice-to-have items to 2027. And to the extent circumstances change, we will adjust prioritization. This is a budget, not a spending commitment. As mentioned earlier, save the date for Administrator Baldwin's presentation of the proposed 2026 budget on April 7th. And in addition, starting this week, members of the Board of School Estimate are meeting with Superintendent Huff and members of the BOE to discuss the 2026-2027 school budget. We aim to improve transparency and collaboration with the Board of Ed in 2026. The next update, I wanted to just quickly share some very practical information that might help anyone in Summit who has changed their name and wants to make sure their voter registration records are up to date. In case you haven't heard, the SAVE Act passed the House of Representatives last week and now faces what I considered an uncertain future in the Senate. But if the legislation does pass the Senate, then your name on your legal documents and your voter registration need to match if you want to ensure your vote counts for this year. So please go to unioncountyvotes.com to check your registration status and the name you're registered under. For example, if you were married recently, divorced, and changed your name, et cetera, there may be a need to update your name in the registration, and there's information on how to do that at that website. And I just say taking a few proactive steps now can prevent some problems later. And then, sorry, I'm talking a lot tonight. Finally, I want to just address my neighbors in the Wilson Park neighborhood. On Sunday, I began to get a few questions from some of you about the possibility of a group home being developed on the corner of Oakley Avenue and Springfield. And I live there, and I had no idea what you were talking about. I've studied the affordable housing plan. I obviously spent a lot of time at the last council meeting going through it with our planner and attorney, and there was no reference to a development at that lot. But yesterday, I learned that the city updated its affordable housing plan on Friday and published it to the city website, which is where this came from, moving a proposed group home development from Edgewood to Springfield Avenue. And this change was made because the original lot on Edgewood was not an appropriate site for this type of development. Unfortunately, no notice was given to the neighbors at Wilson School neighborhood impacted by this change. No input was solicited from any of us. No heads-up calls were made to the remaining members of council who were not involved in this decision. And as you heard from Council President, there is an error in the plan which will be corrected in March. So when things go wrong, I think it's important to interrogate ourselves afterwards so that we can learn. It's not about blame. It's about diagnosing what went wrong, what is broken in our team, and to reference what the resident said a few minutes ago, let's be honest and acknowledge it. So council, we have a huge hill to climb this year together. on implementing this affordable housing. I'm super excited about Council President's suggestion around a task force to help us address the issues that are going to be associated with it. And despite my frustration and my disappointment over the past few days, I'm still super optimistic that we're going to do better next time we hit a bump in the road. And just to my neighbors, I want to say thank you for bringing it to my attention, and we will continue to share the facts with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? I saw you getting ready to go, Councilmember Pulowski.
Yeah, you know, I have like my usual lots of stuff to say, so. A couple things. At the last council meeting, at about the 3 hour and 57-minute mark, Councilmember Crisafulli said we should stop making up lies that get repeated and amplified and repeated again and again and again. And so I would take that a step further and say we should stop making incorrect claims, whether they're lies or otherwise, that get repeated. And when we do, we should let the public know that we were wrong. I've made mistakes in the past, and I did just that. Right after Councilmember Crisafulli's statement about repeating lies at that meeting, he said, as we heard tonight, the residents of nearby towns that are similar to Summit enjoyed greater transparency and the ability to make public comments, as if we should have or could have done things differently. But that's not what I heard on February 3rd. In fact, a couple hours earlier, at about the 2 hour, 2 minute and 55-second mark, Councilmember Crisafulli asked our professionals how towns like Westfield were able to have more transparency. And our city planner responded with his understanding that Westfield was able to resolve various disputes from developers interested in certain projects, which were small in scale, and to approve those amicably prior to the challenge process. So the circumstances were vastly different, namely because Westfield was not still in negotiations like Summit was, which is the entire reason our council was not able to be as transparent as we'd like to. Look, I did not hear what Councilmember Crisafulli says he heard, and I certainly hope that statement doesn't get repeated and amplified, because I think it's wrong. And if we're presenting an opinion from the dais, we should also be careful to couch it as such, rather than presenting opinion as fact under the imprimatur of our office. And I'll certainly try to do that as well. So this is my opinion on affordable housing. We get a lot of questions about, you know, why are we in the position that we're in? And you've heard me say many times that the blame falls squarely on Trenton, who has, in my opinion, coerced municipalities across the state to increase population density against their will. In 2024, the council adopted a resolution to oppose the new fair housing bill for, among other reasons, that it fails to consider the impact from affordable housing projects that were approved during the third round but are still not under construction, and subjects municipalities to increased chances of litigation. And the resolution was to send a letter to the folks in Trenton to ask them to rethink this and not to pass this legislation. It passed on a 5-1 vote. Council members Allen, Boyer, Hamlet, Pulowski, and Smallwood voted to send that letter. Council member Miniger voted against sending that letter. Councilman Vartan was absent. At the end of last year, we introduced a similar resolution opposing a bill that has not come to fruition, and I don't think that it will. But this would allow religious and nonprofit institutions to build affordable housing and be exempt from zoning requirements. And this is all, you know, aside from even being in our plan. We voted on that one, and voting to send that letter were council members Boyer, Hamlet, McTiernan, Pulowski, and Smallwood. Voting against were members Kalmanson and Toth. There is another resolution that is bouncing around the state legislature right now about allowing alternate dwelling units. And It was introduced originally in 2024, and I have heard some talk that it may come to fruition again in 2026. So ADUs as of right in single and two-family units are what is being proposed here. They could be up to 1,200 square feet, attached to a home, detached from a home, or in a garage. Each would have a kitchen, bathroom, living and sleeping area, and can be up to 1,200 square feet with a minimum of 300 square feet. And the only demand for, they can only be denied for health or safety purposes, maybe if drainage isn't sufficient or what have you. Not only that, the proposed bill not only requires that we must allow it, but it also says that a municipality's housing element shall include a plan to promote the creation of accessory units. So it's just another step towards taking away some of our home rule in what the density of our city should be and how we should zone it, or I guess they can just ignore the zoning and put these in. I mean, imagine if even 100 houses added accessory dwelling units, what that would do to our population and infrastructure. So former Assemblywomen Munoz and Matsakudis have steadfastly opposed this type of legislation in Trenton to protect municipalities like Summit. My colleagues on the dais, both now and Councilman Miniger and Vartan, worked really hard to replace those two Assemblywomen in the Senate, and they succeeded in doing so with the election of Summit's own Andrew McCurdy. Will Assemblyman McCurdy continue to fight against state-elected overdevelopment? We can only hope. I strongly recommend, I'm going to be presenting another proposed resolution to oppose this potential legislation should it ever come to fruition. And I hope we get it on an agenda. And if we don't, I'll make the motion from the floor. And I'm sure Councilman Boyer will second me, and I hope that the rest of the council will vote to have a hearing on it and consider it. So I strongly recommend that the council adopt an accessory dwelling unit resolution that I'll be proposing. And I recommend residents encourage council members to adopt it as well. I also recommend that some residents reach out to our new Assemblyman, Andrew McCurdy, and encourage him not only to vote against additional legislation that would allow Trenton to control Summit's destiny, but also to actively work to introduce a revised Affordable Housing Act to provide Hill citizens and other municipalities some relief. And I guess the last thing I have is Big Fish. Starts at the high school middle of next week, I think on Wednesday, and runs through Saturday. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Polowski.
Council President.
Councilmember Boyer.
I'm tempted to ask Councilwoman LaSaracino to start the clock.
How long did I go? I think that was pretty quick for me.
Don't bother.
All right.
It only goes up to 20 minutes.
I didn't go that long, did I?
You in 7:43.
It's an all-time low.
I'll try to be fast. So, it's completely understandable that residents are scrutinizing our fourth round affordable housing plan. But the narrative that this is a bad plan or a rush plan or promotes overdevelopment ignores both the statewide legal reality and specific protective mechanisms secured in this agreement. So when you compare Summit's mediation agreement to how other New Jersey municipalities are handling their fourth round obligations, the city actually managed to secure significant developer concessions and utilize strategies specifically designed to prevent high-density sprawl. Many municipalities meet their prospective need by simply rezoning large tracts of land for new inclusionary developments, because developers typically demand 4 or 5 market rate units for every one affordable unit to make a profit. This traditional approach naturally leads to overdevelopment. Summit's prospective need obligation, 345 units. Rather than achieving this purely through new construction, the agreement relies heavily on creative alternatives that do not add new structural density to the city. And that is a huge win. We are talking about the city securing credits for 147 existing units across Weaver Street, Glenwood Place, and Vito Gala. That is a significant win, A, for our current affordable housing stock that hasn't been rehabilitated in 40 years, and B, reducing what all residents wanted in both parties, overdevelopment. That was a huge win by the last administration. Other municipalities also didn't get concessions from developers. Developers just build. So we got $1 million to help out our rehabilitation plans for the Summit Housing Authority, and a vacant lot on Shunpike to put more affordable housing there, which I know is in contention. But if you're talking about 345 units spread out across the city of Summit, and if we're debating over 2, how can we say that this plan was bad, right? There's always going to be some debate on where you put affordable housing, right? It's always kind of not in my backyard. And I'm not pointing fingers, but for good reason. You know, people have issues with putting certain developments in their backyard. So I get it. But when you look across the whole spectrum of how many units we had to come up with because of the state mandate, your council did a really good job of keeping the number down. So it's just a different perspective on how to look at it. I think a lot of things that we could work out. But I think this was a huge success, and the narrative that this is a horrible plan is just straight wrong. And if you say things enough, regardless if it's true or not, people will believe you. So I'm making the counter argument that this is not this whole terrible, big, wrong plan. Your council did a good job eliminating overdevelopment. So thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilmember Boyer. Anybody else? Councilmember Crisafulli.
Oh, thank you, Council President. Since Bob mentioned my name, I feel I have to respond. I really appreciate you bringing back the historical minute, talking about long retired council members. So I think that was a good educational moment for us. The point on Westfield is exactly what you said. Westfield took a different approach. They were less confrontational, and they were more proactive about finding good alternatives through good planning. And as a result, they were able to have a more transparent process. That's what we heard here during the last council meeting. That's exactly what we heard. And so we agree on that point, right? Dealing with affordable housing court isn't like buying a used car, which we heard here previously. You can't go to a different judge if you don't like the deal. You have to build a confidence and build a relationship rather than proposing one new net unit over a 10-year period, right? And so that's why we got the treatment we did. The round 3 unit that we were talking about tonight, where there was an error in the reporting, that unit was from many years ago, from the previous round. And Summit didn't address that effectively, and that's why it's coming back to bite us now. So, I think we're talking about the same fact set, Bob, here, but we see it very differently. I see a different path that we could have taken. You have your narrative that you are very firmly entrenched. I wasn't going to say any of this. I think we need to get beyond this and get to the implementation. But Summit did have options. We chose a path that we took, and it's gotten us where we are.
Thank you. Councilmember Saracina hasn't spoken yet.
Thank you, Council President. First, wanted to wish everyone a very happy Chinese Lunar New Year, wishing prosperity to everyone observing. Also a blessed Ramadan and an early peaceful Lent. We are still celebrating Kindness Month, also here in Summit, and actually today is International Kindness Day. This week we are suggesting that our residents, I'm going to put myself on the clock. We are suggesting that residents invest in our wonderful downtown businesses and consider leaving 2 or 3 positive online reviews for some of your favorite local businesses. We are so fortunate to have a wonderful downtown, but we can't take it for granted, and online reviews are a great way to show our local businesses some love. Also wanted to lift up some amazing things that are happening across our Summit Public Schools in honor of Kindness Month. At Jefferson Elementary, they have a chain reaction initiative recognizing students and staff members who show grit, respect, and responsibility, the Jefferson core values. Washington classes are designing classroom door displays to reflect what dignity means to them. At Franklin School, classes are creating a class flag to show their team spirit, their class team spirit, and build a sense of belonging. They also sent Valentine's cards to the Children's Hospital in Morristown. At Brayton, students were given a checklist of kindness deeds, and they are being recognized throughout the month. At Lincoln Hubbard, students received mystery kindness missions, and they are acknowledged when they deliver on these missions. This is very mysterious. I wish I knew what the missions were. And at our primary centers, Valentine cards were sent to our Summit Senior Center, and compliments were exchanged among students, so everyone could go home with a list of compliments. In brief, I just wanted to recognize the wonderful things that are happening in our Summit Public Schools. In addition to teaching all of the core curriculum, there is a lot of really great extras. So wanted to acknowledge our staff, our professional support teams, our administrators, and others who make all of this amazing work possible at our Summit Public Schools. One quick clarification. So we do have a planning board meeting coming up on Monday, the 23rd. The Round 4 Affordable Housing Plan will be under discussion. So for those who wish to learn more or ask questions about the Round 4 Affordable Housing Plan, your next great opportunity is at the planning board meeting on Monday, the 23rd. We do separately, and I do apologize for this, we have our first community listening session of the new year. That's a general session that will take place with rotating members of council at the community center. So the planning board meeting on affordable housing will be here the evening of Monday the 23rd. The community listening session to acknowledge that community members care about a wide variety of topics. That will be also happening on Monday the 23rd. And again, we do apologize for the overlap. I take accountability for that. It's a very busy community calendar in the shortened month of February. We did want to get a listening session on the books. We are already working to schedule the next one, and we will try to be more mindful of these conflicts. So again, I do apologize for that. I also want to apologize for being a bit heated during discussions of affordable housing at the last council meeting. I do have feelings of disappointment and remaining questions about the plan, but I carried that anger with me in an unproductive way, and I do apologize for that. As has been said, now is the time for us to just roll up our sleeves and do the work of showing our best efforts in adopting the plan that was, or implementing the plan that was previously adopted. And I look forward to bringing that task force to fruition so we can get community feedback and do that level best work. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Saracina. All right.
It'll be really quick.
Yes.
Thank you for your opinions, Councilman Crisafulli. I've made mine clear. The beauty of today's technology is that everyone can go to YouTube, City of Summit, live, February 3rd meeting, watch the 2-hour mark and decide for yourself. Thanks.
Agreed.
Okay. And I was going to say, pro tip, if you watch the meetings afterwards, you can speed it up to 1.5 or 1.75. The sound is not distorted. I'm just going to make a couple of comments about something unrelated to affordable housing. Because we probably all know that ICE was present in Summit last week and removed a resident. As individuals, we have our own reactions to this. As local elected officials, we're able to have conversations about information with relevant city officials. What information does the city gather on its residents? How do we store it? How, if at all, is it shared? These conversations continue, but so far they've been very reassuring about maintaining resident privacy. So I'll echo the mayor, the police chief, and the school superintendent. Every Summit resident should feel secure accessing city services, reaching out to the police, and sending their children to our public schools. That includes applying for free and reduced lunches. I've been saying this about affordable housing for the past several meetings, but it applies here too. We are neighbors. We are in this together. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks unless you come to my office hours next Monday.